want to talk about Veronica Mars. I talked about Veronica Mars before. I always watch Veronica Mars. I watch Veronica Mars probably weekly. I paid for it on Fandango. It wasn't on Hulu before, but I don't have Hulu. It's on Netflix currently. I don't know how long it's going to be on there. And then it's been on a channel, like a cable channel. Once all the elderly people go cable, going to see Sizzy probably, and they still be high. But anywho, so I wanted to start with just a whole bunch of things from Veronica Mars throughout the season. So 1, 2, and 3. I'm kind of be jumping back and forth. I love Veronica Mars when you think about like the parallels of Veronica Mars, like the Madison spit thing when she spit and Veronica drank at the party. Well, Dick handed it to her, but she didn't drink it. It was laced with something. She spit in the drink and then handed it to Veronica at the party, and Veronica just took it and drank it. The first season. And in the second season, Madison was mad because Jill showed some interest in Dick, which, you know, that Dick is Madison's ex. So she spit in a drink, and then Veronica stopped her saying, hey, you don't want to drink that. And then Meg stopped the drink from Veronica. She told her she don't want to drink that because Logan birthday party. It wasn't his birthday party because his daddy didn't know his birthday. So it wasn't really his birthday party. But he was like, it's just 9 months later, 3 months earlier or something like that. And that probably still why, even in the third season, like Veronica was so mad at Madison. Like she blamed her so much, but Madison didn't know. She shouldn't be mad at, well, I don't know. I'd say Dick, but it wasn't like Dick tried to give it to her. She tried to give it to Madison, so I don't know. She was so mad at Madison. You is the reason this happened to me. But technically, yes, but she didn't know. It wasn't like she do the drills in her and gave it to you. Like she didn't know. So being mad at her was like blaming her for everything. Time could be much. Yes, she handed you a drink, but she didn't know what was in the drink. And yeah, she never handed you a drink, it would never happen. But it's just like, then to the parallel of the guest house with Lily, Veronica and Logan was, you know, they had made up because she kept thinking the worst of him. She thought he was the one who drugged her. Then she thought when she was in the guest house with Logan, after they had made it after the party, they went to the guest house. And then she was laying down, waiting for him to go get the key or get flick or whatever. And she was looking up, she saw the camera in the ceiling fan. So then she followed the thing. And then later on, like the last episode of the first season, when we figure out what happened to Lily, you see Lily being in the bedroom. She was waiting for Aaron, Logan dad. Which is crazy. Like the fact, Lily was a horrible person. We won't get to that, but Lily was horrible. Like, she was messing with Logan daddy, and opposite of daddy was the wrong one in that, because he's a grown man. But she also was like messing with Logan, her boyfriend dad, and then she was messing with Weevil, and then when she was done with him, she had like he didn't exist. So that was a parallel. I like how they do the parallel. And then Weevil's cousin, the first season, like this, I think it was maybe the second episode, Weevil's cousin, like Paris Hilton character, and they were messing around, but obviously she was with Logan. Lily was with Logan. But Weevil, you know, was messing with Lily. So Logan is the common denominator there. And the cousin, he thought that she really liked him and all this. But as soon as push came to shove, she was choosing Logan because she had him come to her house and then told Logan, so they was about to beat him up or whatever. I always wonder what Weevil told him to get him them to leave. Like, I wanted that he tell him what he was going to do. Like, we going to handle it, and then he going to get sent on his way. I wanted that he tell him that, and Logan was okay, you handle it then. I wonder, was that the case? We never know what he said, but I'm assuming maybe that's what it was. So the thing, Weevil cousin really thought he committed crimes for pretty much. Then got his grandmother arrested because he was using her name to do the cards or whatever. He was, you know, sitting the cards and then buying this girl all this stuff. And if she was wealthy, because she was old niner, I don't think she was just wealthy by association with Logan. So obviously she was old niner. So it's like, you buying her all this stuff, she don't care about you. It was so funny. Veronica was telling his grandma, he's spending all this money to spend it on the white girl because he had bought the grandmother necklace, so she knew it was him that was doing a fraud and not Weevil, but she let Weevil go down for her, right? Maybe because she was younger, I don't know. But with Weevil and Lily, that would have been Weevil's fate. If he would have kept messing with Lily, he even got her name catted, which is crazy. Logan was like, who is you got Lily in your mom, Lily in your mom. He's like, you want to know this my I don't know why he didn't tell him. It's him and her feelings, I don't know. But he was like, well, this my little sister. That cool with you? But it's just like, that would have been his fate. I'm pretty sure this was a lie. Well, you know Logan. I'm pretty sure it's a lie. Weevil, she would tell Weevil pretty much that Logan was putting hands on her and stuff like that, which I do not think he was. Like, they never made that clear, but I don't think he was. When you know his character and how protective he is, first of all, Veronica and all them, and none of his other girlfriends, he did that too. It was like, and he was getting beat, by his own father, and then his father was getting beat by his father, which they threw that in there to say this is why he do it. I wonder, was he beating the wife too? Because I don't think he was beating the daughter, because the daughter didn't believe that Logan was getting abused by the daddy, but he was. But yeah, so she would lie. That's why another reason I said Lily was a good person. She would lie to Weevil to make it seem like Logan was so bad. Yeah, he may wasn't the best boyfriend, or maybe he had flaws. Obviously, y'all was kids, but it's just like, you made it seem like he's beating you and hurting you. So that's why Weevil was protective of Veronica. And then Weevil was about to hit him upside the head with like I don't know what that was, a pole, a stick, when they thought that Logan did it, towards the end of season 1. And then remember they went to jump him when he was about to jump off the cliff like his mother jumped off it, which was another parallel. Then I wonder why they never found the body too, though. I always think about that. Like, you would thought her body would have washed up, but they never mentioned that again. I feel like Weevil always protected Veronica. He was trying to protect her from Logan at the time. She thought Logan was the one that drugged her, so she was running away. I think that was the time she was running away. He was like, I'm not the one she running away from. He was like, don't start with me today. Logan was like, they were so funny. And they were so advanced for high school. Logan was like, don't start with me today. He was like, what, really? Weevil was like, really? He was in my day planner under goals. That was so funny. I like, they were just so funny. Weevil and Logan, literally, they were literally the same person, just different circumstances. But literally, they both was loyal, both was funny, both was protective. Like, great. They were great. And then the other ones was from season 1, pretty much. And then a little from season 2. But the other parallel was Mercer. Mercer and the RA, they were in that group. Their freshman year, they was in that class. They experiment with the prisoners and the guards. That experiment that was in that, and then that power dynamic from them bled into real life. So, because even Mercer, the episode where Veronica was trying to run away from them, he was like, "Yeah, I'm sorry, sir," and he was hitting them and stuff like that. Dynamic, the fact that, I don't know, I'm really not familiar with the experiment, but the fact that, but somebody said it's like like a real thing. So the fact that their experiment is so strong that it bled into real life, that power dynamic. And then the parallel was when it happened to Sean from Boy Meets World, it happened to him and the other guy. He was the guard and the other dude was a prisoner. He was berating him, doing all this, but then later on in the episode, he was sick. For the class, he ended up being sick, and then the dude was taking notes for him. And it's then later on, you find out they got kicked out. Both of them got kicked out of school because he was taking a test for the guard. It's like, y'all are messing out. This is like, it bled into real life. Y'all was ruining y'all life. Now, Mercer in jail and got beat up by Logan when Logan went to the prison and beat him up. Logan didn't play about beat. So he purposely hit the cop car, and then he got in prison, and then, he beat up Mercer and the dude, the other dude wasn't doing nothing. And I always wonder, the first season when they hit Veronica visit the college, hers, I wonder, was that RA guy was supposed to be the same guy, but maybe they couldn't get the same guy. And I always wonder with the mayor, was that supposed to be the same person too from the first season? So I don't know, but I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be the same guy, but maybe they couldn't get it. Like, even with the Amelia DeLompree, I love that name. Amelia DeLompree, her boyfriend, he didn't talk. We just saw him walking by, and Clarence Weekman, he said, "Can I use your phone?" Then he called her, whatever, to tell her what was going on with her daddy and stuff. But it wasn't the same dude from in the second season when they was trying to find her or whatever. It was another guy, because he was saying, she just abandoned him and left him, and he had no calling cards, and he had to figure out a way to get home. There are other parallels, but them the ones I'm talking about right now. Lady came into Keith Marr's office and was like, "I want you to pretty much set up my husband so I can catch him cheating, so I can get money pretty much from a divorce or whatever, or settlement." So he was like, I don't do that. And she was like, "Oh, I'm going to Vinny." And he was like, "Vinny, he'll give you to something special. He'll go to your husband and say, 'Hey, pay me double, and then I'll tell your wife that you was a perfect little angel.'" And then later on in season 2, when Duncan and Veronica planned for Duncan to take his little girl because they didn't want her being raised by Meg's parents because they was horrible. And I never understood. Meg's parents was so horrible, but it seemed like she was pretty free to do whatever, but they was doing it to the little girl. Maybe they only do it when they little. And then to the sister, when she was in school, she would wear all this makeup and clothes. After she hid it, but you would think they would have been on there more to hide it, because when she was at the hospital business, she was dressed, uniform type. But anywho, when Duncan and Veronica, made the plan to, make sure his daughter was safe and for them to go to Mexico or wherever they went, Duncan's mom, Celeste, had hired Benny. Clearly, Veronica then went to him. I guess she gave him a letter when he was in at the end watching her. She gave him a letter, I guess, telling him the information. So they just paid him double or more, and then he went with them. Because even when they were in the car with the blonde girl that they thought was Veronica, that worked for Celeste too. When they were in the car and Duncan was in the car and they was with Lily, which is what he named his daughter, they were driving away. He was like, "Oh, you paid better than your mom." He said, "Nobody gets him for free or something." Benny said, "Nobody gets him for free." And he had an envelope with money. He was like, "Oh yeah, you pay better than your mom." So that lets you know that was the case, which is weird. Because I wonder why he just didn't go back to the people like, "Okay, this person offered me this. Maybe you can't do that because the person won't touch you no more." But I don't know. But the fact that they kept that detail, like, I love when characters are too, like, very strict to who they are. That's why childhood parent stuff don't begin. But when you really develop a character and you're like, this is what they will do and won't do, and like, that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm like, Logan didn't hit. She was lying. Because we have seen his character. We know what he'd do and what he won't do. We know what we would do and what he won't do. They obviously they don't do everything good. Like Weevil, obviously, he stole that money from the school. That's who his character is. But he wouldn't steal Veronica necklace. It's like, you have to know these people characters. So it's like they stick to it pretty well. These characters pretty well. About who they actually are. I never understood why Duncan's parents wouldn't want his daughter. Like, that didn't make no sense, especially when they lost their daughter. Like, it didn't make no sense that they wouldn't want her, especially if he told them, what Meg's parents were like and what they wanted to do. Like, why would you want your bloodline in that foolishness? You would think they would have wanted their child, because now they lost both of their children. Duncan ran away with the daughter, and then Lily is not alive anymore. So I don't know why they didn't want that. It never made sense to me, but obviously you flow with the story. But a way to get Duncan, gone. But so Veronica and Logan can be like the end game. But I just don't. That never made sense to me. But obviously, if he thought Veronica was his daughter all along, then Duncan's dad, then he didn't care about that. So whatever. At the end of season 1, you see somebody come at the door. You just see a silhouette, and she was like, "I was hoping it was you." But it did. In the next season, you see Logan at the door, and she like, "Logan?" So she wanted it to be Duncan. So that's the fact that she got back with Logan, but she clearly wanted it to be Duncan, because when she said Logan, like, she was surprised. So clearly that's not who she thought it was. Veronica and Lily was so best friends, but it seemed like Veronica didn't know anything. She didn't know any of her business. She didn't know she was with Weevil. She didn't know she was with Logan's dad. Now, she did say, "Ooh, I got a big secret," but who knows if she would have actually told her. And then the time Weevil broke in and stole the pen, I wonder what was in that letter. Like, I always wonder what was in that letter. I don't know if I already said that, but I wonder what was in that letter that he took. I wonder, was it what Logan had wrote her? Remember, Logan said he left her a note of breaking up and whatever. I wonder, did she put it in a pen? Why would she put it in a pen? I don't know. You would put it in a pen. If she put something in a pen, it would be her sending something, not receiving something. So I don't know. We never knew what happened to the letter that Logan said he left her, the breakup letter, saying, it's over pretty much. We don't know what happened to that. And I don't ever think they even alluded to what happened to it, so we don't know. But every time I watch Veronica, I feel like I heard something new every time I watch it. Every time I watch it, I heard something new. I'm like, oh, how I missed that? Because I watched Veronica Mars many times at this point, and then I don't know why I didn't the other day. I heard, but I never heard it before. I don't know how I didn't hear it. Cassidy Beaver was like, Logan had left early. Like, when what happened to her at the party, when she didn't remember what happened, and when Beaver was telling the story, he was like, yeah, Logan left with some girl. He was like, and then you can tell she got a realization, like, oh, he had nothing to do with it. But that's neither here nor there. It was strange that Lily, her boyfriend, was a year younger and her best friend was a year younger. So everybody she met through her younger brother Duncan. Always thought that was weird. It's like Logan was Duncan's best friend, so you start dating him, and then Duncan was dating Veronica, so you befriended her, and now y'all best friends. It's like, and she was dancing with Weevil, who was also a grade younger. So it's just like, what? Was she with in her own grade? Like, you know what I'm saying? Who was she with in her own grade? It's like she was met all with the kids a year younger than her. That was weird to me. Clearly, they made it seem like Veronica was very clearly passive before Lily passed away. She was very passive because and then she grew stronger. Because Lily, it seemed like she never wanted to speak up for Lily. Remember when she was like the friend had kissed Logan? Make like a tree D. The mogul, remember Anthony Anderson played like this, like hip hop, I guess mogul or whatever. And his daughter and Logan had kissed or whatever, because Lily didn't go to the party. No telling what Lily was doing. That probably the night she was with Logan daddy. Who knows? I don't know what Lily was doing. Lily was doing time. But she was mad at Logan. Yeah, Logan is acting that way because you clearly doing something. Ooh, he's possessive because you clearly doing stuff. It wasn't like you just, I'm just a perfect angel. He's so possessive because he wasn't possessive of Veronica because he knew she wasn't doing that. Like he was like protective of her, but not possessive of her. So it was just weird. Then you remember the dude that stood up for her that they tried to he was like about the bomb threats to the school. The dude tried to frame him or whatever. Some guy was blowing spitballs at Veronica, and she was just taking in, like, taking out her hair. She wasn't really speaking up. And then the time, like I said, with the girl that kissed Logan, she wanted Lily to listen, but Lily was like, I don't know her. Do you know her? That would be me. I don't know. Do you know that? I don't know her. So Veronica felt bad. But I don't know why she felt bad, because the girl shouldn't have kissed Logan. She's friends with y'all. She shouldn't be kissing Logan. Even if Logan kissed her, she still kissed him back. So I thought that was right. Veronica was acting like, oh, I feel so bad that I didn't stand up and disowned a perfectly good friend and left her in the school by herself. But I'm like, she shouldn't have did that. Now, she shouldn't have talked to Logan either, but they was toxic, so they was going to talk back to each other. But she shouldn't have did that. So I don't know why Veronica was like she was just so wrong for not talking to the girl no more. But okay, it's a lot of wrong Lily was doing. That's the thing you standing on that you should have stuck up for. This could have been a parallel. Obviously, Aaron, of course, was like, he's beating up Trina boyfriend because Trina boyfriend had hit her, and he's beating him up. He was really beating him up. He stole him, tried whooping him with a bit. Like he was actually pretty foul. He was really beating him up. My daughter, Logan's mom and Aaron didn't adopt her together. Clearly, he was with somebody prior and adopted her. But did they ever explain who was the lady that adopted her with him? They never really explained. I feel like where she was. Maybe they did and I just missed it. But she just around and just left. I don't know how that worked. They must have couldn't have kids or something, I'm guessing. Trina just disappeared at like the third season. Then Logan found out he had a brother, so he had family. He had the sister, then he had the family, but he had ruined that or whatever, messed that up. Yeah, I was saying that Aaron, while he was beating the Trina boyfriend, he was saying what his daddy used to do to him and stuff. And then he did it to Logan, which was crazy. Which ain't crazy, but either people do what they hate or become what they hate or disown what they hate, whatever. Then Cassidy was like sexually abused, and then he sexually abused Veronica. So it's just like Dick and the daddy, they really did treat Weaver really bad. And just like, and then that stuff happened to him with the mayor. I mean, was he the mayor? Whatever, the stuff happened with him where he got, sexually abused, and now the kids on the Little League got sexually abused. And it's like, he couldn't even try to come to his people to tell him, even if he wanted to. He probably was scared to anyway, but even if he wanted to, because how they was treating him. So they didn't used to treat him bad, so they kind of cultivated that. But he turned into this person, but still was letting them bully him. Well, he kind of got his get back. He got his get back with Dick, but he had him with the trans woman. Dick didn't know, so he got him back with that. And then he got his daddy back by saying his company was pretty much frauding people. So he's gonna be getting his get back on the people, and maybe he wanted to get back on Logan for something, but maybe because maybe he thought Logan bullied him too, or maybe he did, I don't know. So maybe that's why he told Veronica that Logan he went back early the day Lily passed or whatever. Never understood why Mac liked Cassidy so much either. Like, I didn't understand it. But I guess, I mean, she always like nerdy type guys. I guess, like, when you look at the people she dated, especially like in college, she dated the dude that was giving everybody answers and papers that pretty much helping people cheat in college. She started dating him. Then before that, she dated the dude that was like a animal activist. I don't know what he was called, but yeah, that he loved animals and stuff. So that was just interesting. Then too, like, it was such a big story, but they never talked about it again. That, you know, Sharon Madison was pretty much switched at birth, and they never like. I wondered when she got older, did she ever like want to have a relation with her sister or brother? Like, and then Veronica, maybe she didn't want to say it because she thought it would affect Mac. Like, as much as she hated Madison, she never was like, well, you was switched at birth. Like, she never let that cat out the bag, but maybe because she didn't want to affect Mac or something. But Mac was already affected. She already knew. So I don't know why she never said that for her. Veronica to be so vindictive and petty back, because she was like, I will get you back. It's only one dude she didn't get back, and that was at the end with a third season. The dude that had sent that video out of her in pits. So that's the only person we never seen her get back, because his secret is so big. Curly, he was like, him and his family hid a body or something, he was saying. Kendall was the only person out of all the seasons that wasn't blonde that Logan dealt with. Dick Senior, they must have met pretty quickly and got engaged pretty quickly. I didn't understand why when the dude got out of jail and she's waiting for him, and she had all this money, why he unalive her? I never understood that, because surely she loved him. She had money. She wasn't bad looking. Like, nothing was bad with her. So I didn't understand why he wanted to unalive her. They could have both just been living lavishly with the money. Like, I didn't understand why he wanted to unalive her. It wasn't like he was like, I never understood that. That never made no sense to me. And it also never made sense. I'm guessing Keith left his keys in the house. That's why he couldn't drive away. Because clearly he survived. He survived the whole time. So I don't know why he didn't. Maybe because I don't know why he didn't go after him. Because if he would have after him, he wouldn't have made it. Because he could have easily found him. He had failed and hurt his leg. Then what if he didn't fall and hurt his leg? Then he really would have been able to get around pretty well. So I never understood that part, really, for real. It's obviously Benny Bello, when he was looking through the bag, he put the pen in the bag because, you know, track where he was and whatever. Track where Keith was, because, you know, Keith was helping Kendall, you know, when, you know, his brother got out. I just didn't understand that. Why he would do that. Like, Curtis, she loves him. Like, she was doing all this stuff just to make sure he was good, man, when he got back. She married a rich man. Maybe she wanted to get his money or do something. I don't know. Then she had got the money when she was helping Aaron Eccles when he was in jail, when she planted the stuff with Duncan. I think Duncan slept with her the first time. Obviously, he didn't the second time because they used that to their advantage. I think he did the first time. I really did. Because why would she be in the room all that time? Because they had, maybe they were saying they had that plan all along, and they knew they was going to get the daughter, although they thought Meg was going to survive. So maybe they was like thinking ahead. I don't know. But that was weird to me. But she never even questioned Duncan. But she was always questioning Logan. Like, she was doing her fits and stuff. Duncan wasn't having it. Like, when she was mad at him, whatever, because he was, what, I'm not happy like you? When Meg was in the hospital, she was like, what, I'm not happy like you? He just walked away from her. He said, I ain't got time for this. And then she went back and apologized later. Like, Duncan didn't really deal with Veronica and her foolishness. Like, when she was doing whatever she doing, he'd just leave. He didn't care what them. Like, he wasn't like Logan or the other people. Like, oh, what's wrong? Like, he was like, I don't got time for a girl. Whatever. I ain't got time for your laugh too, girl. Like, even the time she was trying to question him about why he visited Meg so much or something, even when they was eating Chinese food on the couch, and then he was like, girl, I don't got time for that. And then she let it go. But every time she questioned Logan, like, who was you with when we broke up? Who was you with when we broke up in season 3? It's like she would never let it go. So even she didn't look at Meg's stuff, because she's like, trust your boyfriend, when she was helping that crazy lady that thought her boyfriend was like doing something, but he really didn't have money, so she had him look into it. Veronica, she was in high school, so she was young, but she having that all wrong. She was telling the woman updated information instead of getting the full thing first. You need to get the full thing first before you tell her. She was like, yeah, I'm at this house. You know anybody at this address? girl, wait and look. If you would have waited to call her and saw what he was doing before you called, you would have called her, oh yeah, he's doing this. Or you would have told, I don't know if she would have told her or not, because that ain't like nothing bad. So, but okay, maybe you obligated to tell her. So you would have told her, like, oh yes, he's meeting with a strapper to, obviously convert. So it's like she wasn't waiting. That whole episode, Veronica was irritating me. When they got the tapes, when Duncan and Veronica got the tapes, they, got the tapes in the vent, which is so weird. All this stuff y'all been thinking, y'all never thought, oh, Lily put stuff in the vents. I know they were saying she forgot all about it until, Logan did the thing in the pool house. She was saying she forgot all about it. Then obviously Aaron didn't know about it until he heard the sheriff say it. He didn't know that. He was like, these kids like to hide stuff in the vent in these vents, and that's when Aaron was like, oh, she probably put it in the vents. But the fact nobody thought about that up until that point is crazy. But anywho, when I got the tape, it was 3 tapes, but we only saw 2 of the tapes. We saw the time when they was together, whenever, we don't know if that was the first time, second time, we don't know. The time they was together, sleeping together. And then the second time is the time where she passed, where she had the uniform on. So we saw 2 tapes. What was the other tape? Did they ever really say what the other tape? Because even Veronica, when she was hiding the tape, that was smart. She threw the tape on the roof. She threw the tape I think the trash can, and threw the tape in the washer. Don't quote me on exactly, but I think that's where it was. So that was smart to do. And that was 3 tapes, but we only saw 2 tapes. So what was the other tape? I always read the question. No, what was the other tape? Did they ever say what the other tape was? The fact that he got off and all those people was at the crime scene, well, maybe I wonder if he pay off the dude that called. Maybe he said, oh, you're Aaron Eccles, because he had ran over Aaron by accident. He's like, oh, you're Aaron Eccles. And then Ron was like, no, call the cops, whatever. Pretty much don't touch him, call the cops. So he was a witness of that, and they pretty much said that he paid off I'm guessing the dude that was in the house that he knocked out. That house it was that happened to, he paid him off. But then too, if that was the case, it wouldn't be no paper trail of that, or, there wouldn't be no way to figure out that he was paid off. I don't know, but people like the paramedics and stuff like that. You wouldn't think they would testify because it's clear that something big happened. Like Veronica was beat up, stuff was burnt up. It's like they were at the crime scene, so that evidence was pretty factual. So the fact that all them people was involved and he got off. He got off because he was a celebrity. That was one of the first depictions. Well, I don't know on first depiction because it came out at 2003, whatever, 4, whatever. Aha. So the fact that he got off, obviously he's a celebrity and he got off that, and just people think because they like you on TV or your music that you are a good person, which is crazy. Just like they think because you're a police officer or a judge, you're a good person. It's like, is y'all crazy? If you're a horrible person, you should get in these positions because people gonna think the best of you because you in this position because they like a movie you in or a song, which I don't know why people can't differentiate the two, but okay. And then, Veronica saved all her money, over the years working and all this stuff. She saved her money to put her mom in rehab. And then her mom ended up checking herself out of rehab. And then as soon as she got out of rehab, started drinking again. And then the money that they won got from the Kane family for finding Duncan when he had ran away. She stole that money, which she stole from Weevil, she stole from Matt, because they was going to get a percentage of it. So she stole from all these people. And then that's why, the next season 2, Veronica was saying that he had to write a book and do interviews, since the mom stole the money, they had no money pretty much. They made it, the end of season 2, Veronica left taking her final exam for one of her classes to hear the verdict live. And that's why she ended up not winning a scholarship, because obviously she failed that test. So that's why she ended up not winning a scholarship. She probably still passed the class. Her grades is so good. I'm guessing that final test wasn't like a big determinant factor for her personally. Now, somebody else that could have been make a break whether you pass that class number for her probably wasn't. So she didn't get the scholarship because of that. They had to make a way for her to go to Hearst, because if she would have got the scholarship, why wouldn't she go? Like, they would have had to think of another reason for her not to go. Wallace, he was her best friend, but like he was never close to anybody she dated. Like he was never close to Logan, really. They had their slight interaction, like the time where they were trying to help Veronica so the girl wouldn't get an upper hand on her for the class or whatever. They were trying to help her with that. And that has my, and then the time they was in the experiment together, and then they made the side bet. Like, it was stuff, like interaction between them. But even like Duncan, the time him, Duncan, and Jackie was watching a movie for the class on the couch, and it's my interaction, but he never was really cool with them. Troy was probably the coolest with him, because I remember them making it seem like they was going out to places. But other than that, it wasn't like they was really, he wasn't really close to him. That was always strange to me. And I love, like, usually shows and stuff always eventually, and maybe it could have been, but obviously it never happened because the movie, let's not talk about it. But obviously shows they have like best guy and girl best friends, they always end up dating. I like, it was never no inkling that they might date. It was never no flirt, it was never no look, it was never no nothing that they might date or they like each other. They were just strictly best friends, and I love that. I really did. I hate when shows, everything don't have to be like girlfriends. William and John, they should have never dated. That show would have been so much better if they never dated, because it's like they was for real best friends. Like, they was so in sync, not in like romantic. You could be in sync with somebody and just friends. Like, they were so in sync, but he wasn't romantic at all. This type, like, well, I guess maybe they were trying to show that too, that just because you're friends with somebody and you get along don't mean it would translate romantically. Maybe they were trying to show that. Cool. But it just ruined it to me. I was like, they should never did that. That was just so weird to me. First season, we only saw the vice principal. I didn't even realize he was the vice principal. I don't know if that was like always what it was, or they like just never said he's the principal, so they end up changing him for the story. Like, they never made it clear. I just always thought he was the principal. I was like, he's the principal. I never even put two that he was the vice principal. So the fact that the second season, they was like, he's the vice principal, and then what happened with the principal being Trina's actual father, and he was messing with a student, and the student was deaf, and she ended up now current day as adult, she was working as she was working at school now, so that just was interesting. And then he had a son that was a freshman there, and then obviously second season he was a sophomore, but then Veronica didn't know about it because she was like, I make it a point not to know freshman. The fact that they did all this speaking was like interesting to me. When the bus had went over in season 2, when the bus went over, Meg only survived. Like, that once she had money, her parents could afford to keep her, alive. Because even her sister was scared that they would pull the plug if they found out, what was on the computer and stuff like that. Although they knew she was pregnant, but I'm surprised they didn't pull the plug in. But, they were acting like they were Christians, so they don't want to unalive the baby, whatever. That was abusing the kids, whatever. Meg, her being so bitter, well, if she was not mad at Veronica, because she would have ended up in the limo. But the fact that she was, I was about to say, her being bitter saved her, but it did, because if she wasn't bitter, she would have been in the limo. But she was sitting in the back of the bus. She didn't want to deal with Veronica. And she saw Veronica and we were talking. And, she was like, is anybody on the bus? It's so funny because at America's Next Top Model at the time, they would cast, like, if you win this competition, you will be on Veronica. It was her, the teacher, that won, and that was ended up being a teacher. And we only saw her in that one episode? Or was it 2 episodes? Maybe 2. I think it was 1 though. And then, yeah, it had to be 1. That 1 episode, and then we saw, a girl with the shorter hair when she was working. This is season 2 too, when she was working at his car rental place when she was working, and Veronica was like, "Ooh, can you help me find his car or whatever? Like, where it's located and stuff." So that's always been interesting to me, that they're gonna survive because she sat in the back. And then I know it was one other. It was another boy on there. He was like, he did survive the crash, but he just couldn't swim, so I guess he drowned. I think that was the only other survivor almost that they mentioned. But yeah, the fact that Megan, she was in the back, that's why she survived, because the bomb was clearly at the front. And the fact that she was sitting in the back and withstanding that smell is crazy to me. I don't know how she did it. And if I was the teacher, I wouldn't, if all the students ain't going back my way, I wouldn't have let them bring no limo to go back. Because the other kids probably wanted to do it, but they had no money. So I wouldn't have let them do that. So that's me personally. I would be like, no, you cannot do that. How we get there is how we come back. Like, you cannot just leave. Like, that's like, if Weevil was there, he was there, but I'm saying, he was like, she was like, oh no, I'm gonna leave with Weevil. Oh no, I'm gonna go over here. You cannot they still high school kids. You cannot let them just do what they want to do. Like, how you go there as a school, you have to come back as a school. You can't just go all these separate places, because how are you accounting for these people? Because what if they would have went in a limo and the limo crashed? They would have blamed their teacher for letting them do that. I'm just saying that. What if that scenario would happen? They got in the limo crashed. That teacher was wrong. Why would you let them get in the limo when they were supposed to be at school function? So, but anywho, like, they made it clear that Meg was only mad because, she's pregnant, and she was hurt because it's like, and then too, Veronica pretty much she didn't hook them up necessarily, but she gave her the okay. Which, I don't know why. Maybe at that time she was like, maybe that was her brother, so that's why she gave the okay. I don't know. But clearly she, even after that, still, when she didn't know if they were brother or sister or not, she was still treating Meg bad. Meg was already on 09er. She'd been on 09er. She was acting like, because she with Duncan, she became an 09er. Meg was rich, so they said the rich people was 09ers, and she was a cheerleader, she was popular, so she was already that. So I don't know why Veronica was like, well, I don't hang with the people you hang with. She been hanging with the people. She been an 09er. Because she with Duncan, she been that. So what is you talking about? She was so mad, but she the one hooked it up. That didn't make no sense to me. Veronica having an attitude with Meg didn't make any sense. So that's another parallel, because then they flipped on her. Then Meg had the attitude. And she's pregnant, so that made sense. But Veronica having an attitude when she the one was okay with it, and like, yeah, go with Duncan at the dance, and she was fine with it, but then had a problem with Meg. Meg wouldn't have did that if you wouldn't have probably gave her the okay. And she probably still shouldn't have did it, but she wouldn't have did it if you gave her the okay. When Veronica was trying to have the guy in the flower shop to describe Duncan, and he was like, I was like, he described Duncan perfectly. He didn't say nothing, but he described Duncan perfectly. Because when you find out it's Duncan, it's so Duncan at the end, like towards the end of the episode, it's so funny. It makes you laugh. It's hilarious. He was like, teenage. That's exactly how he looked. That was a perfect description. I'm sorry, he didn't say nothing, but that was a perfect description, because that's exactly how he looked. And they were trying to find out who the secret admirer was, and Veronica and Meg was at the party, and Duncan came up to her and be like, hey, did you hear about Logan? I wonder, maybe Logan said she been helping him with his mother. That's all. It was like, why you going to her and ask her? But then he act shot, and she was like, oh, I'll handle it. He act shot, but he went up to her for a reason, because clearly Logan told you that she was helping him, with his mother. Okay. For the longest, I couldn't really explain what actually happened to Veronica. Like, I couldn't actually figure out the timeline. Like, when was this and when was this? Because the first season, like I said, I don't know, maybe is they planning on it being, I'm sure they did, whatever, because they planned ahead about, what they wanted to show. So I was just confused about it, because, everybody was telling different stories. But then I finally was like, okay, I got it. What's the timeline, if y'all was confused too. Okay, so I'm start from where it can be unclear. Veronica was, when she was outside laying on the lounge chair by the pool, and they was feeding her shots, because they say she was sobering up, so they was feeding her shots, and Duncan came over to get her. He had the jacket on. He came over to get her, and then Logan handed him something, drugged him up too. Then he took Veronica to the room. He left her. He took her to the room, left her, went back to the party. Duncan clearly left the door open. That was the thing with him. He clearly left the door open. He left Veronica in her laying down. They left. They came in the room, and then the scene happened when they was like, oh yeah, make sure you wrap up and this and this and that, and left Beaver with Veronica. Weevil sexually assaulted her. Put her panties back on. He obviously took her panties out, put them back on, right? He sexually assaulted, made it seem like nothing happened. Put her panties back on, left. And then Duncan came back in, because he didn't have no jacket no more. He came back in, and then obviously the drugs had really kicked in at that point. He came back in, and Veronica was starting to sober up at that point, I'm guessing. Slightly, because she don't remember. But she was slightly sober. She wasn't even awake when Beaver was in there. She wasn't awake at all. But with Duncan, she was more awake, but she still obviously don't remember. So she was more awake, so they slept together, right? Obviously, he didn't put her panties back on, because he didn't sexually assault her. So that's why her panties was to the side or whatever. I don't feel on the ground to be wherever that was. And it was morning, and he had left, because he was like, he left because he knew that they were possibly related, and he still did it anyway. So he left her. And then that's why she woke up feeling that way. Then obviously, I'm sure y'all understand that Beaver, the one, gave her the disease, because he was being sexually abused by the mayor or whatever. Oh, and then I'm thinking I have to say this detail, but when Duncan and Veronica was together, they had the door open, and that's when what is her name? They made her be in the movie too. What is her name? Well, but that's when the girl walked by. And it's so interesting to me that if Cassie would have never mentioned her, Veronica would have never questioned her. Veronica only went to talk to her because Cassidy mentioned her in the story he told. He was like, he threw up on her shoes. Carrie Bishop. He threw up on Carrie Bishop's shoes, which I think happened. I really managed at the time, not necessarily. But the fact that he should have never said her because she really tied the stuff in together. Well, maybe he should have mentioned it because if it wasn't for her, she wouldn't have realized she was with Duncan. And then obviously she wouldn't think Duncan would do it until, although she would knock on his door, but she easily believed him once he told her the story. He wouldn't have happened then. He was like, oh, so now you saying that? So now you said I assaulted you? Like, Duncan don't be fooling over. He don't be curring book for running. We talk about that. People probably didn't know that the guy that drove when Logan went to Cleveland, he drove and pretty much stopped it. Another episode, the episode where the girl was pregnant and she was being sexually assaulted by her stepfather. That episode, he was one of the paramedics that got the dad's body. Like, when he had the dad body on the stretcher and pregnant down the stairs. That was the same guy that was the witness that saw Logan on the bridge. That was the same guy. I'm wondering if you would know. It's a lot of shows. I might do a video about that. But it's so many shows that have this. The person appears multiple times in different people, and they're just so interested that they appear as different characters, but the same person. And he didn't have a talking role. I just happened to notice him. Like I said, that was the first season where he was the paramedic, and then the second season was he was the truck driver. Even then they had that was, why am I blanking on people's name and I watch this all the time? The guy that was Lucky was the same person, They just put a wig on him and people was mad at it, but I wasn't mad at it because they made him look different enough. Yeah, you knew he was the same person, but it'd be different if he looked exactly like they did. They had no facial hair, they had no hair or nothing. The fact they made him it was the same person, but they just gave him a different role for the third season as the TA, which sorry. But I didn't mind it though. Jake Kane clearly was a good person because he stole from Abel Koontz. He stole his patent idea, and that was his idea alone. So he got rich off of this man idea, and didn't even give him no money or nothing for it. And then the man ended up taking a fall for something that he thought that his son did. Ended up losing his family because he became a different person because he ended up losing his family. Didn't have no money, didn't have nothing, and then ended up getting cancer. Then he thought he was doing something good for his daughter, taking a fall, getting her some money, but then the money ended up ruining her life. And she ended up getting out of the law because of the money. So Jake Kane just really ruined Abel's whole life. His fate, he just really ruined it. It was just a trickle effect. Everything happened to everybody. I wanted it, everything ever come out about her, what happened, but it did. Her muscle just on her life. Braxton and Jerry Fox. That's it. People be typecasting, but you didn't see Braxton at all when you was watching that. You don't see Braxton because I think he's like an actual actor, like theater type actor. See, to me, the fact that they made somebody was such a small town and all this, although it was LA, so I don't know how that was possible, but they made it seem like it was like everybody knew everybody and everything, and it was such a famous case. I don't know. And every time they went undercover, like Keith went undercover, it's like, how didn't they know he was a sheriff? Especially when that big story happened. You know what I'm saying? And sheriffs are in small towns, or small areas. So other big places don't call their people sheriffs. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that it's a sheriff, it means it's a small area, small town. So the fact that they didn't, and like I said, the big case that happened with Lily, I don't understand how no one knew Keith. They read a reference to it in season 3 when he had pretended like he was a police officer when he was questioning the girls in the college campus, and then the juror came out, they ran a paper and it's like, do y'all not watch the news? So I guess they were just like, I guess there's people that don't know who their people are. I'm guessing some people don't even know who the president. I'm guessing. I mean, I don't know how, but I'm guessing some people don't know who the president is. I guess some people don't know who the people are in their town. I guess, so that is it. But it's just so funny to me that, but it was just too big of a story. The fact that he was really big, was going undercover. At the time he went undercover at the cult that they said was a cult. The fact that he went undercover for that and nobody knew who he was, and they just, it was like, and then he tried to be undercover when he was talking to Veronica Professor in season 3, and he was trying to be undercover, and he was like, I know who you is. I read your book and I read all the way up to the end. Like, he's smart, so he would know. Like, you would assume that he would know. You assume the girl that was over the paper would know, because that's her job to be a journalist. So you would thought she would have knew too. So the fact that it's like, the fact that they wasn't scared to be undercover, like that somebody would figure out who they was, is funny to me. Too, Jackie's mother was always so interesting to me, because it's like Curry was struggling, like she was working, both of them was working as waitresses or whatever at a little cafe, I guess. Why does she never get child support? He should have been paying her child support. Like, I never understood that. Like, they should have at least been comfortable enough. Like, he should have been paying for her school, child support. She should have been good. I never understood what was going on with that. Why they were struggling and she had money. Like, she could have took him to court. So I never understood that, why they wasn't getting anything. But okay, Duncan's parents, maybe they was embarrassed, or maybe they was like, couldn't handle it. They left when literally trial was going on. But you would have think they would have fought harder for him to be convicted. It seemed like they kind of just gave up and left. Like, they didn't fight for their granddaughter. They didn't fight for it. But, he wouldn't have got off if they, like I said, he wouldn't have got off if they would have made their presence known, because they had money and wealth too. And they could have buried him. He wouldn't have, but then Duncan was like, told, they muscle, hey, Braxton, they told him like, he was like, okay, take care of it, whatever. So I don't know why the dad and the mother wouldn't do that, but Duncan handled it, which is interesting to me. I had Common Pratt on my episode, but we never saw her again. Like, I'm like, why we never seen her again? We never seen her again. She was in one episode. They liked each other. We never saw her again. I don't know why they didn't make her like a bigger role. At least his girl ran for the first season or something. Like, it was like she was in one episode and we never saw her no more. I don't know about talking about this already, because I just been rambling. But how was the limo behind the bus when when the crash happened? The limo was hiding behind the bus, but when the bus had stopped at the gas station, the limo was nowhere to be found. The only thing that makes sense, I did think I talked about this. Still don't make sense, because I was about to say maybe the limo just hadn't pulled out from the stadium yet. But if that's the case, Veronica could have called Duncan and be like, hey, can y'all stop at the station and get me? Because she thought Weevil had left her, which she knew Weevil wouldn't leave her. So she called Wallace and be like, hey, what you doing? But then, Weevil came back. But if that was the case, she would just call Duncan, because they wouldn't have passed yet. So I don't know. That's the only thing that was weird to me. I don't know how was the limo behind the bus, but when the bus had stopped to get gas, and the limo wasn't. I really looked hard. I could have missed it. I looked really hard to see if the limo had stopped too, and the limo wasn't there. So I don't know how the limo ended up being behind the bus. But that's another gripe. I don't know. Another interesting little thing. I'm guessing she was the RA, the lady in the round when they was in college, Veronica and Mac and them, and they did the around the world thing, and the lady that was asking them, hey, what country I want to be or whatever, she is the same lady that's in Nobody Wants This with Christian Bale. Was her boyfriend, brother, wife in that. That was just interesting to me that I saw her there and she was in Nobody Wants This, and cross universe type things.